Externally, Iran's destabilizing activities, again trying to take advantage of the turmoil in the region, are backfiring by uniting its neighbors in the Gulf against it more solidly than we've seen in years. This was something I heard often when I visited the Gulf last month and spent quite a bit of time with leaders in the Gulf. This is something Arab leaders are saying not just in private, though, but in public as well. The Gulf Cooperation Council recently said, and I quote, that it's deeply worried about continuing Iranian meddling and accused Tehran of fueling sectarianism. I want to be clear. The door to diplomacy remains open to Iran, but that diplomacy must be meaningful and not a tactical or cynical attempt to ward off further sanctions. These choices remain available to the Iranian government. In the meantime, though, America and our partners will keep up the pressure by continuing our current sanctions and seeking new lines of sanctions to target. We'll continue the hard work of building a regional security architecture, maintaining a strong military presence, equipping our friends with early warning and missile defense systems, including our phased adaptive approach. We do all these things because they are profoundly in our national interest and because America stands by its friends and allies. Now, in this region, we have no closer friend or ally than the State of Israel. And I'm very pleased to see my good friend Uzi Arad here, my counterpart from Israel. And I'm going to talk, Uzi, about a number of things we've done together since we've been in office. The U.S.-Israeli relationship is a close friendship, rooted in shared values and common cultural ground, but it has evolved, and this is the way I've thought about it from the outset in our administration, into a multi-layered strategic partnership to advance shared interest and counter common threats. And we really do, I'll pause for a second, to view this as layers of a relationship, from the strategic down to the very tactical. And I'll try to describe it along those lines. Our commitment to Israel's security is unshakable. We understand the threats that Israel faces. We have to understand them because those who threaten Israel also threaten us. Now, as I said, this starts at the strategic level, where our two nations have worked together from the certainties of the Cold War to the uncertainties of the Arab Spring to forge a conception of strategic landscape. We've differed at times about the exact contours of the landscape, but through sustained and open dialogue, we have enriched each other's understanding of the security challenges we all face. And this is at the core of an alliance and a partnership, understanding and having a shared threat assessment and what to do about it. We've shared our best thinking about the most effective ways to match our resources with the requirements that flowed from our strategic worldview. At the highest level, there are regular meetings and phone calls between President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu. They'll meet again next week at the White House. We also conduct these decisions through an array of other channels below the President and Prime Minister level, the Strategic Dialogue, the Joint Political Military Group, and many more. These channels have been ongoing and have proved their worth at every level of government. The enduring relationships that our senior leaders have forged with their Israeli counterparts have produced a rock-solid foundation of trust between the Pentagon and the Israeli Ministry of Defense. In 2010 alone, there were nearly 200 senior-level DoD visitors to Israel, and Israeli defense officials visit us here just as often. Our multi-layered dialogue has produced concrete steps that enhance Israel's security. While some are focused on noise and distraction, we're focused on the fundamentals. And let me say this as plainly as I can. And I gave my partner here, Dennis Ross, a hard time earlier, but I think, Dennis, you were there at the beginning of the Israeli-U.S. strategic dialogues in the Reagan administration. So I'll say this, I'll say this without fear of contradiction by one of the original participants. The fundamentals of the security relationship between Israel and the United States are stronger now than they ever have been. Everyone in this, thank you. Everyone in this room knows that we're committed to maintaining Israel's qualitative military edge and back that commitment with about $3 billion of foreign military financing every year, regardless of the budget environment. This has helped Israel secure its future in a tough neighborhood, and at the same time, we've made our own best technology available, such as the Joint Strike Fighter and sophisticated standoff weapons, so that Israel can defend against evolving threats. For more than 2 decades, the United States has also been working with Israel to improve its protection of its population from very real and the urgent threat of rockets and missiles by partnering with Israel to develop an extensive missile defense architecture, and this has been critical. We cooperate across the continuum of development, deployment, and operation of these systems. Our financial and technological support was essential to the Arrow and David Sling system to defend against long and short-range ballistic missiles. Now, there's a recent example of our president and this administration's commitment to protect Israel from rockets and missiles, and it's our support for Iron Dome. This is an underreported story in the United States, I think. It's an advanced short-range rocket defense system developed by the Israelis that has recently been deployed. During the 2008 campaign, Senator Obama visited Israel, where he saw firsthand the damage from waves of rocket attacks. So last year, the president requested that Congress provide Israel with an additional $205 million on top of our FMM support for the production of Iron Dome. Throughout its development, the United States cooperated closely with Israel, and the additional funding for Iron Dome requested by the president will allow the IDF to deploy additional assistance throughout Israel in the years to come. And already, Iron Dome has proven its worth by intercepting 8 of 9 rockets fired at Beersheba and Ashkelon in one day. So we're proud to stand behind this project and many others. It's imperative that we do so because there can be no peace without security. But the relationship between peace and security is both intricate and reciprocal. There will not be peace until Israel is secure, but Israel can never be fully secure in the absence of a credible peace. That's why from day one, President Obama has been committed to a process that can lead to 2 states, a Jewish state of Israel and a Palestinian state, living side by side in peace and security. An enduring 2-state solution can only be achieved through negotiations. There are no shortcuts, but no one should take comfort in the status quo. As we learned in the Middle East, the status quo is never static. There are demographic and technological clocks that keep ticking. There's a new generation of leaders who will emerge in the region as a result of the changes that are now taking place. And it is in everyone's interest to see that this peace is possible. Across the Middle East, this is a time of unprecedented transformation and uncertainty. And I know there are those who see the specter of new threats and great risks on the horizon. And I live in a world every day where I specialize in looking at that. And we understand that view. Even without its leader, Al-Qaeda continues to plot the death of innocents. Iran retains its nuclear ambitions and destabilizing activities, as I talked about tonight. And Israel and America continue to confront a range of threats. We will remain ever vigilant to these challenges, but it is also a time of great opportunity for America and its allies. Our administration came to office determined to restore American prestige, authority, and influence in the world. This means not just charting a bold course, but following it. Not just setting difficult goals, but having the persistence and the determination to achieve them. Not just saying what we intend to do, but doing it. On the threat from Al-Qaeda, Iran, and Israel's security, we're doing just that, and I really appreciate your patience. Thank you.